And we're recording again. We're back. Welcome all back to another fun episode of Athletics LLC. Some really good, interesting stuff to talk about and a whole bunch that we're going to leave out. So you'll all tell us. But I will say, before I introduce the titles one more time, thank you to everyone who's commenting in the comments of our videos on different various episodes. Those conversations are getting a little more substantial. Maybe that's the word I'm thinking of. So they do get read and I do share them with everyone. So please continue because we are hearing your words, your voices as you're watching the video. So cool beans, good stuff. I'm going to start with this one because I'm intrigued. Kirk Street Thompson, what is that about?
Oh, I like it.
Oh my goodness gracious. Welcome to my first name, by the way.
Your real first name? That's the legal name?
That's my first name. Kareem is my middle name. You know, there's probably maybe 3 or 4 people in the history of my life that actually called me Kirk or a variation of Kirk.
Got it. See, I knew I should have asked before we started recording.
So,
I literally was like,
so technically you're KKS.
Yes.
Okay.
This is right.
Oh, got it. Right. Okay. Well, now 387 people know.
And in our world, now you'll be K squared.
Understand, somebody's gonna walk up and call him Kirk.
I know.
Exactly.
Like the who?
So that wasn't by design. It just happened. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So because that should say the governor, right?
Okay, I'm fixing that then because that's gonna throw me off the whole time. I literally was looking at that for like 5 minutes.
I thought you were like trying to be Captain Kirk or something.
That's literally what I thought.
Same here. Yeah, like okay, I'll ride with it. It's the governor. He'll figure it out. Right?
There it is. There it is.
That's gonna weird me out. Clyde, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm back from year one is over. Year one is over. It was a good run. We gotta close out some recruiting business and reload.
Yeah, when can we be done with 2022 career recruiting? Are we there yet? I know, that's what it feels like.
In December, right?
Basically, yeah.
Because then you get the mid-years, right? So yeah, yeah.
Whew. Sir Lucious, how are you tonight, sir?
I am rolling. I'm getting there. You know, a long week last week. This one is flown by. Before you know it, we'll be standing in the cathedral, right? What can I say?
I know, like it's so crazy because I'm like super excited and anxious, and not anxious in a great way. And at the same time, I'm like, man, like I hate having that feeling, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like God bless momentum because that's how we're here. But man,
yeah.
Well, awesome. Lamar, the traveler Huffins. How come we all have normal backgrounds and he now has the hotel? What?
Exactly. Yes.
Man, listen, this right here is the most exhilarating, wildest week of my professional career. Legitimately in a different state every day this week.
There you go.
There you go. Make it do what it do, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a good trip. Not gonna lie, it's been a really good trip.
Well, awesome. Safe travels to you, sir.
Okay, so I have a question.
Thank you.
Big League, how are you doing? We never asked you how you're doing. How are you doing?
I'm pretty tired. I'm not gonna even lie. I'm up to here right now. I said it out loud because I finally felt it. I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. Like I need a minute.
Yeah, like I remember somebody at work today said they were so tired they feel like their head's detached from their body. I'm like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. So
right, yeah, aloof all week this week. Not sure where I was supposed to be or anything, but great. Don't get it wrong. I'm great. I'm just trying to match things together.
Well, let me tell y'all because because you all are my family and because I am proud of everything y'all have done this year and because I know it's going to be a hell of a show, I am driving up to Eugene to see all y'all do your thing in person. So we need to coordinate at least one good evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm excited.
And then
awesome, you guys.
we'll FaceTime with the traveler.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I found a good seafood spot. Hit me up. I think I found it. I was Googling.
I will not be there.
Oh yeah, dang it. No, but you like calamari now. You like calamari. Don't forget that. We can do calamari.
Okay.
That was not
There's always
convincing.
chicken. There's always chicken for you to order. Yeah.
There you go. Chicken or steak. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh my
Got it.
goodness.
That's hilarious. Oh, that was really funny. All right. Well,
And the
let's,
calamari was good too. It was really good. So.
See, and I promise to give you tiramisu too. I'm in there. We'll
There
get
you
it.
go. All right, there you go. Let's rock.
Right? All right. Well, we'll do a thing called Athletics LLC and we'll start this show off right. And we'll go with a good old favorite this time, well, kind of early in this time of year. But let's highlight the Prefontaine Classic and give some of the thoughts and insights as to what we thought about what happened this weekend.
I mean, I think you have to start at the top of the women's 100. I mean, like, why? Let's start with the bang. And Elaine was Elaine. And I know, like, I think the controversy here is Sha'Carri, right? And I thought Sha'Carri ran well. I thought she ran really well. And she beat some people that run really fast earlier this year. That's the most poised I've seen her in a race where she wasn't winning from 60 to 100. And I think, she, if nothing else, she established herself, in my mind anyway, as the favorite to win the USA champs. So.
I too thought Sha'Carri actually, I mean, I'm going to shudder to say this. Sha'Carri actually looked like she has matured as a sprinter, right? That race plan wasn't how she had it go in her head. I'm 100% sure, but it wasn't the shut down and pout, and she beat some really good people. And, I don't know if she can close the gap between her and Elaine, between now and Worlds, but let's just be clear. Any questions about who the best 100-meter sprinter, the best female sprinter ever, are day by day getting ended. I mean, Elaine is, at some point in time, it's like you win so much and you start to separate yourself to the point where it's like, Shelly, we're getting the best version. If you look at when she's run these things, we're getting the best version of Shelly Ann, and Shelly Ann can't beat Elaine right now. Right. So that just kind of says a lot. And the fact that Sha'Carri was, I thought she looked pretty good. And I mean, the takeaway from that is, she looks like she could actually win a medal. I'm not saying she's going to, but at least she looked like she could.
Yeah,
that was my take.
It's I think you can look at it one of two ways. The question of who is actually ready now, who is actually ready to compete at this level, at this point. We're talking about the last week of May. Although the World Championships are earlier this year. So, it was very interesting to see. I mean, that field was loaded, right?
Loaded.
Let's call it what it was. I mean, there were multiple World Championship finalists in that race. And, for all of them to line up, kudos to them. I mean, at one point behind Elaine, you had that blanket. There were about 4 or 5 of them, coming to the line. I mean, that was a really good race. It was a very competitive race. And again, I echo your sentiments as well for Sha'Carri to come out and pull second out. Kudos to her.
Yeah.
I have too many varied thoughts about the women's 100. I absolutely give props to all the ladies for lining up, because we rarely get to see that kind of stuff happen. So that was cool. Listen, Elaine's in a class by herself, and there doesn't seem to be anybody on this planet that's going to do anything to challenge that anytime soon. So anybody that watched that and somehow were encouraged that maybe Elaine is vulnerable, I don't know where you're getting that from. You're insane. Yes. You're absolutely insane. It's Elaine's party and everybody else is kind of kicking it. Shelly is a clear number 2 right now. And so for me, the party is who's running for this last medal that's available on the table. Because if Elaine and Shelly are healthy, sorry, folks, it is what it is. Having said that, I was both the race behind Elaine, I found in the moment to be relatively underwhelming, if I'm being honest. I also found it interesting. And my issue with the whole Sha'Carri aspect of it is, you know what the word was for Sha'Carri? It was professional. And that's good. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yes.
She went out there and ran like a professional.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't pout and quit. She competed through the line. She took her L like an adult.
Mm-hmm.
All good things. The problem is that's where this whole narrative is right now, where we're going to give props like it's amazing for just being a professional. And that's the sad part of it, right? Like, that shouldn't be the standard. So,
I mean, you know, I'll say this, that's fair. That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. So, you know, Sha'Carri, from a talent perspective, has always been the odds-on favorite to win the women's U.S. championships. So nothing has really changed there. If she's gonna, you know, continue to carry herself as a professional, then I think everybody's on board, and we should cheerlead that, and that's dope. But it's too low of a standard for me. I was happy to see it though.
So here's a question I have, and this is something that, you know, I think that people are missing. There's something wrong with the women's 100 in the USA.
Oh, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, and if not Sha'Carri, then who?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point in time, it's like, I think people are wanting to ride that horse because that's the only horse they have. Like, if there's anybody in the US we think can get a medal, I mean, like, okay, let's look at the landscape of the women's 100 at the NCAA level, right? The majority of the major players are foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Majority of them are. And then, like, so it's going to continue. So who's going to be the person that can step up and do that? And so I think that the reason why people get, look, we know our people. You know, we like ghetto, and that's what she can be, right? So the ghetto is going to come out, and people get behind that. But also, you know, she's the only horse out there that anybody really believes can break up the Jamaicans.
Yeah.
So you got a double-edged sword there. And again, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that her being professional this week was awesome. You know, it's a step in the right direction. To watch her hug her competitors and give them props was awesome. And I think that maturity will make her better down the line. But the bigger issue we have here, folks, is like, if Sha'Carri doesn't make it, we got issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
we
can pause on that for a second, because I think that's fair. But again, I think we all agree. I saw everybody nod when I said it. If we put Elaine and Shelly away, and we agree that the race is ultimately for the last podium spot, I think there's a handful of Americans who are talented enough and race well enough to beat Shericka Jackson, because that's the third Jamaican. Yeah, I think TC can beat Shericka Jackson.
You mean the same Shericka Jackson that curb stomped all of them last year? That same
Hold on,
because I know that all of them. She was third at the Olympic Games, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But wait a minute.
Hold on a second. She was third at Prefontaine in the big showdown, right? Yep. So I'm trying to figure out like who these Americans are that are going to beat her.
Well, okay, based on their lifetime bests, here are the people that I think could do it. I wouldn't consider them favorites to do it, but I think could do it. Sha'Carri could do it. I think Tiana Daniels can do it. I think TT can do it. I don't know what the plans for the collegiates are, so I'll leave them off the table, right? I would think that Cambria Sturgis could do it.
I think they all are trying to make the team.
Right. I think Cambria Sturgis could do it. You know.
Okay, so let's pause right there. I know that everybody on this panel, with the exception of Big League, has been heavily involved at the international level, right?
Yeah.
And at the international level, PBs mean absolutely nothing.
We agree. 100%.
Nothing.
We agree.
Right? So you're talking about people beating her, and half people you're talking about haven't even made a team. And this is the woman that's the Olympic bronze medalist.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is that, like, we have to be realistic here. Like, the only person you named that's made a team is Tiana Daniels.
Oh, and for me, that's the odds-on favorite. Like, I could totally see a scenario where Sha'Carri wins USA's, but Tiana is the top American at Worlds, because Tiana
that's exactly. But she's 6th or 7th at Worlds, or 6th or 7th at the Olympics. She's not 4th or 5th.
If she keeps getting better, you know. Like I said, I ain't calling it a favorite or anything. I'm just, you know.
Well, you know, this has been a wonderful discussion, but we're one event into Prefontaine. We got a lot of track to cover.
Okay, so my standout event, and I think I'm going to get some agreement, at least from Sir Lucious here. The most impressive thing that I saw at Prefontaine was Michael Norman, but he's got to do it when it matters. We're past the point where we're impressed by a one-off race from Norman. He's got to do it when it matters. But that version of Norman wins a gold medal.
So can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Because I've been waiting to get to this one. I would say, outside of Michael Norman's family, I probably have been the most long-standing member of the Michael Norman fan club, and I have been waiting to see angry, y'all ain't beating me version of Michael Norman.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw what I hoped is a glimpse of that in this race. But let me cement this by saying on air what I've said to all of you at some point in time during this year about Michael Norman. He is legitimately at a crossroads. If he doesn't medal individually, I'm not even going to go so far as say it has to be gold, but if he doesn't medal individually, forget relays, this World Championships, things may have passed him by. Not because he's old, but there becomes a mental hurdle when you're super talented and don't get it done. There becomes this monster in the room that none of us see. And so I am rooting for, with all my heart, that we have now ended any ambiguity about whether he runs the quarter, and B, that he doesn't go home and feel like he did something because he won pre, and that he stays angry and humble and shows up and curb stomps everybody at US Championships, and then does the shush because there's more to do, and then comes to World Championships and faces, because let's be clear, Mr. Gardner is not afraid of Mr. Norman.
Or should he be?
Exactly, right? So this is my PSA to Michael Norman. You are the most talented dude, but you have a whole room's worth of work to do. So please stay home, stay humble, and stay working. I'm done.
In regard to Mr. Norman, I mean, obviously, I think the world has been waiting to see the greatness that this man could produce. I mean, let's call it what it is. If Mr. Gardner is healthy, Michael Norman is going to have to run 43 low. Like, it's going to have to be like historic or approaching historic context in order to win the gold medal. Now, could there be a better setting? No. I mean, we've all seen this man run very fast, a la Trayvon Bromell, in that stadium, right? So I think the scene is set. I think it's pretty much set for him to go and, fulfill his legacy. It's funny, right after the race, we had I had my phone on watching pre, and we're in the warm-up area. And as soon as the race finished, I whipped around and I locked eyes with Q, and he looks at me and he's like, and I know how hard, I know what Q's going through right now. Because, it's that pretty much, it's the atypical situation. Q has been there, and Q has gotten over the hump, and he ascended to the throne, right? And now he's coaching a guy who's in the same situation, right? And that must be, it's in a way, it's kind of history repeating itself. But man, I am rooting for this guy, because you're not going to meet a nicer guy, and perhaps that's why he hasn't done what he needed to do. But boy, I'm rooting for Michael Norman to fulfill his legacy this year.
No, I'm on record. I'm not the fan that Lamar has been, but I'm a big time Michael Norman fan. And I will just say this, that, I'm going to use a movie analogy. I'm not a big fan of sequels, right? The original is usually the best version.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping this isn't a sequel, because the man ran 43.4 a couple years ago in April.
Yeah.
And we never saw it again.
Yes, he did.
And so
yes, he did.
The talent is there. We know that. And I don't want this to be a replay of what we've seen before. I need Michael to show up in July. You're coming. You're not even just in my country. You're on my coast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I need you to, to show up and then make Mr. Gardner beat you. Don't lose to him because you didn't execute. Make him beat you.
Right.
That's all I'm asking, because there's nobody out there that really knows Michael that doesn't think he's capable of it. So that's my deal. Yeah.
So in terms of impressiveness, there was a certain thing that was missed, and I don't know if Lamar picked this up, but does anyone realize that Ryan Krauser threw 23.03 from a static start? And I'm not someone that professes to know about the shot put and how the event works. But then I went back and watched him. And yes, indeed. So when you talk about the windup, right, you can get extra momentum depending on how much you actually twist to start your turn. And I don't know why he chose to do it, but he literally gave up a little bit of his edge by going from static. And perhaps there's just something that he and his coach are working on. Lamar, perhaps you can expound on this.
But before Lamar gives us the technical readout, can I just say, as it pertains to Ryan Krauser at Prefontaine, one, I did notice that. Two, I love the trolling. That whole thing felt like trolling to me. Krauser's out there having shot put practice, and then when his shot put practice was over, he said to the new format BS, he's like, yeah, nah, y'all can miss me with all that. I'm gonna sit my ass down. Y'all can figure it out. Loved every minute of it.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Yeah. Well, okay. So just addressing the static start, like basically, long story short, is it's a rhythm piece. And when you pre-wrap and then turn, if that's not timed up, yes, you're going faster, but you're not necessarily in balance, and it can get cattywampus. Sometimes you go back to being in the right position and go from a static start and push a little bit harder from the ground, just to kind of work through some things. The point that Clyde's making is very poignant. What people need to understand is, like, Ryan Krauser is still working.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
People need to understand that, like, the man is the best ever, and he's still tinkering. He's still trying to, quote unquote, figure it out, because trust and believe Ryan Krauser's goal is to throw 25 meters.
Right.
Well,
Listen, I'm telling you, the man's goal is to throw 25 meters.
crazy.
And understand this. I'm not sure there's much that's going to stop him. The only issue he has is he's the only great shot putter that came along in a realm where, listen, we always make the joke about me and Joe Kovacs and like, look, all of the rest of the guys in the world have raised the level and they're all really, really good, right? But unfortunately, he is so much better than everybody else right now. He has managed to put himself out of reach of competition.
Yeah.
Right. And like, that's kind of the issue, is that like his competition is himself. Like the best thing that ever happened is he lost Indoor Worlds.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it can happen. I guess I better go home and work on some things.
Best thing for him, not for any of his competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I just, you know, I say this about LeBron all the time. People are so busy like comparing him to this, that, and the other thing that sometimes they lose sight of what we're getting to see, right? Like what Ryan Krauser is doing, people are going to talk about 50 years from now. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't, track and field is a global sport and you just don't go and own it. You know, like Jan Zelezny did that. Carl Lewis did that. Edwin Moses did that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, okay, like that's like the list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Sergei Bubka did that. And right now we have two, right? We have Ryan Krauser and we have Mondo.
Mm-hmm.
But like those people end up being icons in the sport, right? They're beyond gold medalists and world record holders. They're legends.
Yeah.
Right. What Ryan Krauser is doing right now is legendary.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
I think you have to add your boy Warholm to that list as well, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I mean, Mr. Santos, wow. Like wow.
First two races of the year. My
He's
47-2. Wow.
He's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
He is.
He's going to be an issue.
He is. Yeah.
Now, because apparently I'm King Petty. There was
apparently.
I'm sorry. Did you say apparently? You need to get a grill that says King Petty.
I'll look into that. I do live in Oakland. Richmond to be exact. So there was a moment of epic petty history from Prefontaine, from Jakob Ingebrigtsen, that blew up Twitter, and I wanna, if you didn't see it, so in a race there were 14 individuals in the race, 7 of which ran lifetime best. The other 6 ran season's best. And in an interview after the race, a media person asked Mr. Ingebrigtsen if he was disappointed that no one basically took the challenge with him once the rabbit dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
And his response is, you can't fault people for not being better. Now look, 1, that's brilliant. 2, it's super petty, but half the field ran personal best. So he's just trolling y'all and be like, look, these people, y'all really can't run with me. It is what it is. I love it because, of course, Twitter took hold of it and were like, now you see, if person X would say something like that, hold on. That man has medals. That man has records. That man has earned the right to say things like that to his competition, and I'm here for it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
No, absolutely. Let's take a step back here. You know, and I don't want to belabor the point, but does anyone realize how many years now that Karani James has dropped under 45 seconds? I mean, can we appreciate what this man has done? I mean, it is
it's funny that you mentioned him, because obviously Michael Norman was the story, but it's funny because the chief subplot of Prefontaine was how fast Karani James ran.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep.
And why is that? Because we all know Olympic champions don't forget how to do what they did. If he ran that fast now, he's gonna run faster in June, and he's gonna run faster in July.
Yes,
like we know this.
And Karani,
you know, like this.
Nope. I'm not scared of nobody.
Nope.
So officially, it's been 11 years now that this man has run sub 45. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. No, sorry, he didn't run in 20, so we can't give him that.
Whatever.
But who did, right? but yeah, insane consistency.
Yeah, props to he and his coach Harvey Glantz. Big time props.
Really quick on Karani though, which listen, y'all know that I like small nuance, like kind of weirdish things, right? I don't know the population of Grenada. I know that it is incredibly small in comparison to most global powers. But they currently have the world's leading javelin thrower.
Yeah.
The number, 3 quarter miler, right? It's Karani's time, 3rd in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the number 5 or 6 decathlete.
That's not bad.
I
mean, this is a country the size of an apartment.
So there's athletes on the Spice Island.
112,000. 112,000.
Wow, it's that small? That's
yes.
crazy.
I mean, understand this. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. There were probably 112,000 people in my neighborhood.
I was going to say that's a city block in New York and some places in California.
Yeah.
So the last of the Prefontaine that even though it was to me incredibly boring, the showcase of the meet is the last race, right? The men's 100 was a dud. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's like, first of all, there's too many. It's not too many. So many people have run 9.8 that when a race is won in 9.9, I like, honestly, I think we all are like, oh.
See, and I'm in anxious anticipation for the men's 100 at the U.S. trials because none of them look right. Not one of them look right. They all look very off. So, and then where was Marvin Bracey? I don't need. I don't. They never let him in the race, and I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to say it on camera, but you already know what my conspiracy theory is.
Yeah, you're delusional, but anyway.
Oh no,
you keep saying I'm delusional.
Wait a minute, give me the
I'm not saying it on camera. No, I refuse.
No.
But I'm just saying this. Y'all keep saying I'm delusional, but every time I seem to be right though.
No, you don't. You have no backup. We'll talk about this after the show, Clyde, and Clyde's going to tell you your delusions too.
Okay, I'm wait for that.
Right, but anyway, it was very okay. So here's my thing, and I had a conversation with Vince Anderson about this a couple of days ago. Like nobody's executing; they're just out there. They're on, in my term, of ghetto running. They're just putting the blocks down and grinding through the 100 meters. There's not one of them that has a race model. Like Trayvon is great from 0 to 30, and then he's a mess. I don't know what Fred's doing right now. Christian Coleman, that was not the Christian Coleman we know and love.
No.
Right?
No.
Like it was just nobody in that race. But Eric's a mess. My guy Knighton, I don't know what he was doing. I asked him, I was like, in what world do we work on that?
I promise you, Sir Lucious, I promise you, when I watched the race and it ended, I was like, Lucious is probably pissed because he couldn't Arian could have won that.
My first thought was, if Sir Lucious was at the finish line,
oh my God, right?
What would he have said to the not just to, I'm talking about the collective, like bringing them all in. Hey guys, bring it in right now. Bring it in real quick.
No,
so you know what it was? Because you witnessed those meetings.
I have.
Right? Look, it would have gone something like this, Kareem. All right, listen. I don't know what that was, but I'm gonna need y'all all get some water. I'm gonna meet y'all back at the starting blocks in about 8 minutes, and we're gonna do this again and do it right. That's exactly what. Look,
Oh my
he would
goodness.
have got on the microphone. Everybody stay in your seats. There'll be a
My bad.
rerun.
We gonna
approximately
do that again.
8
We're about to run this
minutes.
back. We're about to run
because
this
And
back.
so,
that was
and I'm with
embarrassing.
Clyde. Like we felt cheated, right?
It was
Yeah, it
crazy.
was terrible.
Yeah, we felt cheated because that's like none of them. It's like it wasn't like half the field went well and half didn't. Like they all were trash.
They
Look,
finally
you know,
all took a stand
I had
together.
Yeah, they
I had
did.
I had the out of body experience of watching Liverpool versus, I'm about
Real
to mess it
Madrid.
up. Who
Real
Kareem?
Madrid.
Versus Real Madrid. So I had it right, but I was about to butcher it. So I watched Liverpool and Real versus Real Madrid with 5 Brits,
Mm-hmm.
and we watched Prefontaine simultaneously.
Yeah.
Right? The men's 100 goes off, and I kid you not, Katarina Johnson Thompson says, "We stopped watching the soccer match for this."
Bro,
Because we're watching like the big TV and the iPad, right? So we stopped watching the big TV to watch the 100-meter race on the iPad, and everybody was mad.
So
Oh,
I mean, before we get off of Prefontaine, I mean, one of the things that's been talked about ad nauseum since Pre was over is that the crowd size was very underwhelming. They've estimated that it was somewhere in the 6,000 range.
6,400.
Right, and it's brought up a lot of issues, but I will go on record to say that I don't know about you, but it just overall, the timing of the meet, I mean, everything about it just felt off. And the idea that 12,000 people would show up, to watch this meet and fill the stands and all of that. There's a lot going on in the month of May. There is a ton of things going on. And I just feel like in terms of the general, the attention span of American fans for track and field, that weekend was not it. I mean, and so I understood why, it was poorly attended. But, obviously, when you get on Twitter and everything, everybody's like, oh my goodness, this and this and that. I'm like, we're still in the collegiate season. We're still, the NBA playoffs are still going on. There's NHL still going on. Like track is not the center focus for people right now. It's just not. It just isn't.
Well, I agree with all that you said, and I think that it's because of the narrative that's been painted, right? And we kind of talked about this privately. I don't think it was a big deal, but it's the narrative that causes the people to run their mouths.
Yeah,
right? It's track town. We support everything. We attend everything, and they didn't attend the Prefontaine, and the Pre's their guy, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at everything that's going on in the world, like you didn't expect them to be there because But again, like my thing is this: if you put the Prefontaine, they had more people there last year when it was after Worlds, didn't they?
Right.
After Olympics, I mean, yeah,
Right.
So and let's see how well they attend the NCAA championships and the trials and Worlds, and before we start.
Well, that's the funny thing.
Being disrespectful to people.
That's the funny thing that people like. To me, it was simple math, right? We've all been to Eugene. Eugene is not a very easy place to get to, and it can be kind of expensive because of the hotels and all that, right? Okay, well, like at the end of the day, like who the hell is going to Eugene 3 times? I'm not trying to
but here's the problem. The narrative is that Eugene supports everything. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the thing narrative. Is right. But okay, then they painted it, cute or not, they painted it. It's Tracktown USA, right?
Right.
Yeah. So then I'm not gonna say what I said earlier, but then be Tracktown USA. That's all I'm saying. So look, I'm not bashing them for it, okay? But if you're truly Tracktown, then all y'all get up out of y'all's beds and go support the meet. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not concerned that they didn't. But I mean, you know.
I'm
But they
not
painted
worried
the narrative that it's Tracktown USA. We packed the stadium. It's always this. It's always that. And this is the first time that it wasn't. So of course people are going to jump down their throats.
Yeah.
People's chance of me. You know,
I
but
agree with all of that.
the number of people in the stands had nothing to do with the performances. There were some great performances.
Absolutely.
And you know, still it was still Prefontaine, wasn't it? Other than the men's 100, it was Prefontaine. You know.
Yeah. I think that's a non-story.
Yeah.
People are just bugging about.
All right, let's transition.
To the most fun meet of the weekend.
Well, that's for debate. The collective fun meets of the weekend at the East and the West prelims for the NCAA.
We're going East.
I know, I'm prefacing the two, but we will visit the East first.
Since the meet was over first, we'll go with the East first.
As we noted it. Which again,
an hour earlier, sir. 1 hour earlier.
It seems like it was like the biggest hour. Like y'all had run the 4x4, and I'm like, where was?
We started an hour before you guys did.
I kid you not. Oh man.
Can we just give Lucious the floor so he can list off the shenanigans before we get to the competition?
Okay, so all right. So first of all, I want to say that I am in no way bashing Indiana University, right? I'm not. But it's not the place. Not the place. But like it was just a lot of things weren't run properly. You know, for the first time in my life, I watched the meet be delayed because rain was coming, not because of lightning, because rain was coming. And then there was a big discussion that lasted for 20 minutes before the rain came. Right? So in that 20 minutes that we were waiting for the rain to come, we could have run the 200 meter, the 6 200 meter heats. So then we sat around, and then it rained for 15 minutes, but we delayed the meet for an hour 45.
And there was no lightning in the area.
Never, not one bit.
And now listen.
No. Here's the thing, but you got to hear this first. You got to hear this first. The announcer came on and said, because of upcoming inclement weather, it's too dangerous to continue running on the track. We're going to continue the field events, one of them being the pole vault.
Yeah.
And he said, I have the meteorologist sitting here beside me. He's proud of this fact.
Oh,
and there's not going to, and there's no danger of lightning in the area. He said that multiple times. But because of inclement weather, it's too dangerous to run on the track, but we're going to continue to pole vault. And they're about to start the shot put.
Now, we have
can't make that up.
We have all literally run races in torrential downpour.
Puddles.
Yes.
Okay.
I ran a hurdle race where I promise you I couldn't see 3 hurdles in front of me. So
let's just take Penn relays and Drake relays alone. Just take.
That's every year.
Okay.
Right. So the narrative was after, so this is how the meet referee defended himself, was I wanted to be fair to all the heats, and I didn't want any one heat to have more rain than another one.
What?
It wasn't raining. That's what you understand something. We delayed the meet because of rain, and it wasn't raining. I can see if it was raining sideways. Okay, I get it. Okay, and then it ended up raining. I wouldn't even say it rained sideways. It rained hard for literally about 12 minutes, and then it sprinkled for about an hour. And we went out there and ran in sprinkles. But literally, we stopped the meet because rain was coming.
Oh man!
So I have
my take through all of that is, first of all, they should have got the head Gator track coach up there, who was clearly an expert on rain at this point. He could have told them, listen, everybody's fine as long as there's no lightning, we can all go run.
Well, and that was my talk to the guy. I was like, where does it say we delay the meet because of rain? And then, look, you understand something? There's a group of us in the infield having this discussion.
While it's not raining.
While it's not raining, and while the announcer is saying there's no lightning in the area, he wasn't helping. He kept saying it.
Oh,
No,
man.
there's no threat of lightning in the area. There's no need to worry about lightning, but conditions are too bad for us to continue to track me.
Unbelievable.
And the second part, and I think all but Clyde have heard me say this, because obviously I've spent way too much time in my life in Indiana. If you don't like the weather in Indiana, move 30 miles or wait 30 minutes. So the idea of impending weather and you're waiting for it is absolutely dumb. It's absolutely dumb.
Yeah, so that's what we did.
I have one more shenanigans related question, because out west, we keep up, we look at the results. I've never seen a college track meet consistently jumping into headwinds on purpose. I need to understand why that happened.
Okay. All right. So
First of all, is it not regulation that you have to have 2 pits on each side? Like you have to be able to go in either direction, right?
I thought
The host, the prelim meet, right?
The pits are there.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
Let's go
Like
from
the pits
there.
weren't there. Okay. So day one, we walk out and the hurdles are set to go to the common finish line, right? Then when you come back out for the competition, they're on the backstretch. So clearly they knew the wind was going to change, but they didn't change the direction of the long jump. Day two, we're running the hurdles for the women, right? And they're running in the common direction, right? The women are running into a headwind as we're jumping into a headwind. Day three, the hurdles are on the backstretch again, and we're jumping into the headwind. Day four, if you go back and look, the women's hurdles, there were headwinds, and they're jumping into the headwind. For some reason, they made the women's hurdles run and the women's hundreds run into the wind every time. It was look, and again, the NCAA just laid an egg on this one. Like the official, like there was a time. Okay, talk about shenanigans. On Wednesday, it's time. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. It's time for the 400 hurdles, and nobody's putting hurdles on the track. Like nobody, because there's not a hurdle crew. No, it was Wednesday. There literally was not a hurdle crew.
I don't want to laugh at this, but I have no choice.
At the NCAA prelims,
there was. I can't make this up, guys. There literally was nobody putting hurdles on the track. So like I'm yelling at an official. I don't know, like, hey, y'all need help? Like we'll jump the fence and help you, but they got to get the hurdles on the track. You know, like,
wow.
It was just like. And again, this has no reflection on University of Indiana because it wasn't their officials. These officials that the NCAA brought in. The very first event of the meet, supposed to start at 2:00 because we moved up because of weather coming.
Weather,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So it's supposed to start at 2:00. It's 1:58. The hurdlers are still in the clerk's stand. They're just sitting there. So Coach Fry walks down to the edge. He goes, "Hey guys, we need to get the hurdlers to the line so they can warm up. If Curtis Fry didn't go down there, I'm not sure when they were going to bring him out."
Huh?
You know? And Coach was very respectful. He didn't cause a scene. He was like, "Hey, we need to let them warm up, guys." They were just sitting there. It was just very, very casual and aloof. It was not what should be the first round of the NCAA championships. It wasn't.
Okay, so I wanted him to articulate the feel of all of this to the crowd, because honestly, and I could be wrong, I haven't dove into it. It felt like the worst East prelims that we've had in this format.
Absolutely.
It just felt, looking at the results, I'm like, God, what's going on in the East?
Yeah.
And it felt that way. You know, it was. I mean, look, there were some great performances. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
There's some people that still ran, but it was just the feel of it. It just wasn't, it just didn't feel professional at times. And I'm not sure what it was, but it's like from the very beginning, it's like we were behind schedule. It just wasn't what we're accustomed to. And I'm not sure what happened, but it just wasn't right. And again, this is not a reflection of Indiana University because it's not their track meet. They just happened to be where we had it. But I mean, it just wasn't good.
All right. But there were good things. Starting
Yes,
with
there were.
So
Trey
what were your highlights?
1307 into a 1.5 headwind.
Yes. And it was a little bit of a drizzle at the time. It was raining at that time. It wasn't sideways, but it was a drizzle. Yeah.
Man,
No, he looked very, very good. I mean, very, very good. Oh, look,
awesome.
There's no doubt 1298 is on notice. It is, because especially we're going to Eugene. Oh, it's on notice.
Man.
Well, that's the question, right?
That's the question. That's the
What
I cannot get Mr. Fambelay's 100 out of my mind. I honestly, I mean, and we've seen him do it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Like it just.
Well, see, this is what I'll tell you about Joseph's 100. Okay, so I'm gonna use our buddy DA on this one, right? Joseph used to be 10 meters behind at 10 meters, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer 10 meters behind at 10 meters. He may be
Right.
2 meters behind at 10 meters or a meter behind at 10 meters. He's still behind. So, so the naysayers out there is like, well, his start's still trash. No, it's not great, but it's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because he ran 10:03 in a still wind. Like there's hardly no wind whatsoever. The 10:04 was hardly no wind whatsoever. And again, that's not a very fast facility at all.
Okay, so if we're gonna talk about Big Joe, the 100 was dope.
I was like,
the 100 was dope.
Let's talk about the mauling that happened in the 200.
Well, see, yes, that's where I want to go with this, because here's the thing. There has been a debate, for some people, who's the best 200-meter runner, who's going to win the 200, is bowling going to do this? Listen, I don't know how Sir Lucious would grade the start that Big Joe had in the 200, but I don't imagine he'd give it an A. He may not even give it a B. But whatever that start is, let's call it a B- C+ start. If Big Joe has a B- C+ start, there is no universe where Matt Bowling or anyone else can beat him in the 200.
No.
And so that was beautiful destruction of the field in the 200. Like,
well,
my goodness.
Here's the narrative with Joe in the 200. One, we have to continue to work to start. And his start in the 200 was better than starting the 100. It was. That was probably the best start he ever had in his life. And I said to him, you have to think about it like this. I said, when you come off the turn and people can either feel you beside them or see your back, what are they going to think? He just went, oh wow. It's exactly. And I said, and then when he comes off the track now, he's like, oh my God, that's so much easier when I do it that way. Really? Really, guy? That's all you got? That's all you got. But I am so proud of him, because since the conference championships, he came to me and he's like, Coach, I have to trust you. I need to really delve in and listen. And for the first time since he's been on this campus, he's not fighting me about the start anymore. And it's starting to show.
Look, I'm just going to say this like this. I thought it in real time. I watched it, and then I watched it, and then I watched it. And all I could think of was the Rocky movie when everybody's yelling, stop the fight. At 100 meters, I wanted the race to just stop right there and everybody be okay. Right? Because I knew what Joe was going to do to Matthew in particular, but everybody else in the race over the last 100 meters was going to be criminal and illegal in 48 of 50 states. And that is exactly what happened.
Most definitely illegal in Indiana.
I mean, most definitely illegal. Look, I mean, let me just say this. I'm not 100% sure that if Joe's even with anybody on the planet, that they don't panic to some level. But I damn sure know there's no collegian that can handle that mental. No shot. You have to,
right.
in your mind, to feel like you're going to beat Joe Fonvilla as a collegiate, you have to feel like you have buried him in the first 100. Because you know he's coming.
Yeah, you know it's coming. Like, bro, it was even at the turn. I was like,
that's
ooh.
what I'm saying. If he's even at the turn, if you can see him, listen, man, just grab your hammy or something.
Kareem, you're a Texas guy. Johnny Lamb Jones.
Oh man.
If I'm even, I'm leaving.
That's right.
I'm leaving.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now let me put a question out there. Has in Bowling's college career, has he ever experienced what he just experienced?
In the 200, no
in the
shot.
200.
Like Joe is running down from like way back.
Right.
You know,
But
earlier this year he did it, but he's never. That's like, again, I think the whole field was surprised when they came off the turn, and it was like, wow, he's here already.
He's here.
Right. It's like,
I was yelling, "Stop the fight!"
The young man from LSU said to me after the 100, he goes, "I knew he was coming. I just didn't know when he was going to show up." Right. So,
man,
proud that guy, man. He's working hard.
Beauty.
You know, he's working hard.
Beauty.
There was a Randolph Ross sighting.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
44-2.
A&T as a whole. I mean, like, it's like we're trying to chill in the 4x4, and then they're in our heat, and then before the race starts, they're up there chanting in the stands. I'm like, guys, we better run because they came to run. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the setup. You know, it's the stage has been set now. You know, Favor and Abby did their thing, right? And they were both impressive. They were both very professional in how they got through the rounds. Miss Jefferson didn't look quite as good as she did when I saw her earlier in the year, Florida Relays or Tom Jones or where it was at your conference meet. But when you talk about, if I'm going to pick a guy that had a phenomenal meet, Coach Goodman, I mean, geez, he crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
He crushed it. You know, 2 in the 100, 2 in the hurdles. 200, 4x1, 2 in the 400, 1 or 2 in the 400 hurdles. He absolutely crushed it. I mean, there's no world where anybody predicted Coastal Carolina to have all the entrants they have in this track meet right now. No way. Except for him and Sandy Fowler, probably, right? Yeah.
No, listen, Goodman's been crushing it all year, and obviously the story has been Jefferson. But go look up the East results if you haven't. There's a squad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a squad now.
Yeah, there's a squad.
Yeah. No. I think like the distance racers were crazy. You know, like girls ran.
Y'all were 15. At IU.
Yeah, it was crazy. You know, people running, you know, sub 16 not making the meet or low 16s not making the meet. It was a great competition. No, I don't remember what happened in the 1500s. I do remember that, like, the women's 400 hurdles, like, you had your big two in Anna and Masai. And then there was a plethora of girls, like, between 56 low and 57 mid. That's a big clump of them, right? And David Oliver, once again, is doing his thing. His little hurdler ran that. She ran 56 seconds. She looked really good doing it, too. You know, that guy, you know, is coaching his tail off right now.
Yes, he is.
That was going to be my thing. Like, from the East, Coastal, yes. Howard, yes. And then Princeton.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Princeton.
See, I can't think of it.
Forget
I feel bad.
How good a team Princeton had indoors at the indoor national meet.
No, we didn't forget. But they're better. But they're better.
Yeah, they're better, and they're like sprinting.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Okay, the dude from Princeton, his name is Michael Philippi. I think that's his last name. I'm sure I'm butchering it. But like Princeton's 30 meters back from qualifying. And he just kept coming and coming. And he ran a guy down the last 10 meters. It's crazy. And they're all over the place. They're in the 1, the 2, the 4, the relay. And I think that both their relays qualify. Yeah. In what world does anybody have both of Princeton's relays in the national meet? None.
And out of the East.
Yeah, exactly. And look, and they're not afraid. Right. They just line up and get after it. They do. To think about, like we talk about the 4x1s, but the two regions combined on the men's side, there's 10 teams at sub 38.90 going into the meet. 10.
Right.
Okay. And yeah. So somebody's gonna run 38 stupid and be in the stand and say, oh man. Oh man.
Well,
we ran really well.
Can we talk about how training and a workout almost went awry with Miss Hall almost making the meet in the 100 hurdles?
Man, look, you know,
the coldest 13th place in the competition.
Exactly. Like so, and thank God for a little bit of headwind on that one, right? Because
if she has a tailwind, 1/1000th of a second. She makes it.
And so the whole deal is like, okay, you know me with the hurdles, it's rhythm, and she's really starting to understand it. And so I'm like, what? She's not gonna qualify. You should just put her in there. She might not make it out of the first round. Sure, Mike Holloway. So, and I looked at her, I said, you were trying to make the meet. She goes, of course I was. Of course I was. But like she didn't. We're grateful. But oh my God.
Had no one ever.
But as we said today in practice, 2 great training sessions, running 13:30 something into headwinds both days was a good training session for her. That's going to help her when we get to Eugene, and more importantly, when we get to Eugene the next time for Worlds.
Interesting.
Okay, so in my defense, don't you throw me under the bus, Lamar, because we know when we talk about the multi, we talk about the events where you can score big points. And you've been telling me since she got here, you got to get her to be 13 flat in the hurdles. So I'm trying to get her to be 13 flat in the hurdles, and you're texting me, what the heck are you going to do if she makes the meet?
I mean,
deal with it. What we did. She needs reps, man. Clyde understands that too. I mean, in the hurdles, you need reps. You just can't run 13 flat off of nothing,
I get him in.
I understood it too, but you should have told her to shut it down when she came off a 10.
Anna, there's no chance that was happening.
I mean,
no chance that was happening.
All right. So the West?
Yes. Let's move south to go west.
Fire. Yeah. Fire. See, I want to start with the men's 400.
Wait, hold on. Wait, nobody heard choose subtle? That was awesome. She said, let's move south to go west.
Yeah, I heard her.
But the rest of the world doesn't get that. That was awesome. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Well played.
Job,
well played.
All right.
So you said you want to start where?
The men's 400.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, like, wow. There's dudes running 45. I never heard of these people. Who are these people?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So 40, for the record, 45.67 is at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Insanity.
The men's 400 was interesting to me because, well, like you said, the people you expected to do things, did them, right? But UCLA got 2 guys through in position 3 and 4. Arizona State, everybody remembers Justin Robinson can run, right?
Yeah.
But Jamali Felix, I don't really know who that is, but he ran his ass off.
That's my point.
You know what I mean? 45-1. Texas got 3 in.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a Brian Herring. People have been waiting for Brian Herring to run 45-2 since he was 13 years old.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Props to Eric Sorio for getting that dude right, because we all thought all jokes aside, when that dude was 16 years old, we thought he was the next guy.
And I got to shout out my Mountain West crew, New Mexico, Javon Williamson getting through 45-39.
Yeah,
they were running.
And credit to Davian Clark. doing his thing with the quarter milers, getting Javon Powell, not only 44.8, but qualifying for world championships as well. So, you know, he definitely slayed some dragons in that race. Here's something that you know, I'm curious about, because I don't have any doubt that if the East had the conditions that we had on Friday and Saturday, I mean, we would have seen some really crazy, stupid stuff as well.
I agree.
The question I have is, when you tabulate the results from the prelims, I mean, we're talking crazy times, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about what the national meet is and how pressure packed and how compact the schedule is, it's really hard to duplicate that, especially on finals day, right? So I'm curious to know your philosophy on, hey, Fambale, if you're feeling it, go ahead and get it. You know, is that kind of the mentality, or is it just
that head shake took 3 nanoseconds?
So okay, but he still runs 1985.
Okay, so all right, okay, so like that wasn't choreographed or planned, right?
Right.
Like,
okay,
because trust me, if you watch the video, he can run faster.
yeah, yes.
Like, so there's no world am I telling Joe try to run 19.6. I'm not. That's not coming out of my mouth. No.
Right.
But like, I think for me, like when it comes to the prelim meet, it's just that it's the prelim. You get it's survive in advance, right?
Right.
But and obviously, you know, with Joe, there's a thing with him and Matthew. But if you watch the race, Joe has the biggest smile on his face at 50 meters to go.
Yeah.
Right? And and because he's happy, because he's like, he said to me, he's like, Coach, I finally felt it, right? But like, there's no world I'm telling my guys, oh, we're trying to break this record or that record or go for it, you know? Like, because and Anna Hall said to me, she goes, well, if I come off the 8th hurdle and I feel like I'm going to PR, should I go for it? I'm like, no, you should stay on your feet and get to the finish line, Anna. You're trying to qualify.
Now, Governor, don't let him go back east, because
I know.
He took me back over there.
I understand. So I want to say 2 things about the men's sprints, short sprints. Big Joe aside, we're doing our prediction show next week and all this other stuff. I cannot pronounce the boy's last name. I'm not even going to try. But Udodi from Stanford is a problem.
Special.
Yes, he is.
He is special.
Whole ass problem.
Yes, he is.
And when it comes to the 200, I'll tell y'all right now, I got Big Joe and I got Udodi second. He's that good. Having said that, he ran 10:03 in the 100, win legal, and was wholly insignificant because Micah Williams went out there and ran 9:86 as smooth as you would ever want to see.
And see, and when go look at the video, folks, because it's not what you think it is. It's not like Micah jumping out and rigging. Like at 50 meters, there's people still around.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then from 50 to 70, he was like, I have no more time for you.
Yeah.
And then he come across the line and he gives it one of these. I'm like, oh my God. Did I just watch this? It was like, kudos to Curtis Taylor, because that was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
Let me ask this question. Did any of you, what any of y'all's first thoughts when Michael Williams ran that race and came across the line? Were any of y'all's first thoughts that guy's going to win U.S. championships?
Yes.
Because that was my first thought. Because like you said, like,
you know what my first thought was?
All the pros.
I couldn't wait for you to tell us that you were wrong, because you said if anybody knew who was going to win the 100, they would lose them. So I will wait for the apology. That was my first thought.
Of course it was, because you think like that. Touche.
Because I've been hanging around Clyde.
All due respect. Micah
Clyde, you rub it off on me, baby. You rub it off on me.
He is clearly Elaine Thompsoning the men's 100 meters in the collegiate ranks, but to your point, like it didn't look like an old Micah race. Like it looked like somebody's been in the lab doing some work and is prepared to beat some adults.
Well, listen, I'll take it a step further on that part of the conversation. And let me be clear. I don't know that kid at all personally, and I haven't talked to Curtis Taylor about him personally. I'm just as a fan and as an observer. Okay, one. Last I checked, U.S. championships are in his house. On
he doesn't sleep in his bed.
Yeah.
Okay, he sleeps at home. Secondly, it's not like last year in the Olympics he was not in the 100-meter final because he was. It's not like he didn't get played off the relay, which he did. No. I'm putting all the context in it because listen, the kid is motivated.
He is. Yeah.
He's motivated.
Yeah.
He's not scared of the pros. He's pissed off, most likely, and they're coming to his house.
Yeah. And he's pissed off because he false started indoors too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
All of that.
He walks up to me after indoors. He gave me a hug and he goes, "Now you know they're gonna pay for this outdoors." I was like, "Oh yeah, I know." and he wrote that check and he's cashing it, but he's cashing it.
And let's be clear, because this is a thing in every other sport. He is running for his contract because he will not be back.
No, he will not.
I'll take odds on Michael Williams winning the U.S. 100 meters. After that show I saw this weekend, I'll definitely take odds on that.
Because there's a lot more there.
Yes.
There's a lot more there.
I'm just saying.
Oof. Dare we get the collegiate record in the 100 and the collegiate record in the 200?
Oof.
Here you go.
No.
The only thing that's stopping those records is the wind. We just need legal wins because the times are gone. We might get it in the hurdles.
Yeah.
But now that's me going back east. Stay in the west.
No, but, exactly. But just to stay on Trey for 1 second, like, Grant and I've said this, records are made to be broken. If he gets it, he gets it. But it's been fun watching him try, right? Whether he gets it or not. It's been fun watching him try. Yeah. It has been. It has been.
So the women? There's more in the West on the men, but wait. Shout out to Chu and Sean Jackson. What the hell was doing in the damn
Lucious, did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, we gotta get the video.
I mean,
go
ahead, Chu.
It was great. So Brandon jumped, the Oregon triple jumper jumped first, and Dew said, "Oh, we playing, huh?" So went out all kind of juiced and fouled. And he's like, "Oh, that's not happening, and that's not the game plan because we had a game plan, one and done." We being Sean and Dew, and then so second round comes in. Dew's like, "Now I have to follow the game plan." Comes out, first phase, second phase, third phase in the sand. Doesn't even finish the jump. Literally, double support lands in the sand. Doesn't want to fall backwards, so he jumps out of the pit.
So never literally lands. Think Idawu, but not planning to do that. Just never finished a jump. Just landed on both feet.
Oh, you mean Bob Beeman? Bob Beeman type? Where he just kind of hopped up the back of the pit.
Yeah, but with his butt, nothing hit the sand. It's just on both feet.
And the mark is
so his butt never hit the feet?
No.
Yeah, it never touched the sand.
He was standing up, Sir Lucious.
1707.
I saw the mark.
Yeah, 1707, standing up.
So I kid you not, walking through the stadium, I didn't see it live. I saw him finish because I had just finished warming up for whatever group it was. And every person was like, "Chew, he didn't even finish." So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just know 1707. So I finally see it. And I'm
so then we should expect a war between him and the Oregon guy because he's coming to the Oregon guy's house, right?
Oh yeah, it started on social media.
Oh
5 days before. It was hilarious, and it's friendly fire. They do this. It's all orchestrated.
We're all for bring it back. This is the Walter Davis days and all that whole bring it back. Let's go.
Yes,
it's awesome. It's awesome to see actually. But man, that was just dumb.
So 11-14 is at the house.
Yeah.
What kind of message are you sending? What are you telling these kids? Like, what are you saying to them?
This is what we
and the
said.
thing is, like, exactly, like, so the thing you have to say here is this, okay? Again, the days you want tickets for next week, Wednesday and Thursday, because there's going to be fireworks like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
Because, like, again, trust me, as the governor said, if the East is on that same track, we have the same problems.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
The same
Absolutely.
problem. So it's like when you get everybody together in the same place in the cathedral, it's gonna be crazy. So Wednesday and Thursday, be in place, be in the cathedral, be on your laptops, be on your computers, wherever you can be, because it's going to be phenomenal.
And you know, this is a homer thing for me, but it has to be said. When you look at the results for the women's 100, you expect to see Julian Offord there. You expect to see Chikwuma, I hope I said that right, from Texas Tech. Of course, you expect Kemba Nelson. And if you've been paying attention this year, you expect Jet and Solera Barnes to be there. What you may not have expected is the 1095 from Ezine Aba at UC Berkeley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Props to Ronnie Harrison
Yep.
for continuing the development of that young lady. And I'm having a ball watching it. And it's fun to see. I don't know why she didn't ultimately show up to run the 200. I have no idea what's going on with that, because I actually thought that that's her better race. But 1095, everything about that says she's supposed to be in that final. And no one at the beginning of the season said Cal Berkeley's going to have a women's 100-meter finalist. So props to Ronnie and Ezine on that.
It seems to me that the energy and the focus of the throws group is spilled over to the rest of the team.
Yes.
That's what it seems to me.
Yes.
Because that dude, Mo, whatever his last name is.
Oh, Mo was out there clowning as he's been all year. He was out there clowning.
Yeah. He's just not playing.
I mean, obviously,
all his
it
people
will never happen.
All his people.
Right. Obviously, it's never going to really go down like this. But man, I would love to see like a Cal Arizona State throws dual meet right now. Because them two dudes are just out here tinkering. You know, we were on the West and on Cal. Listen, what Cam is doing to the women's hammer.
Yes,
I need people to understand this. It is very difficult to PR in the hammer like every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like that is very difficult to do. And knowing Mo the way I know him, she's not even peaked yet.
No, not at all. Not at all. Cam in the women's hammer is doing the equivalent of the Ryan Krauser dance at the NCAA. Yes. So she's not even remotely trying to be at her best right now. They are loaded up, doing all the things that they do.
I need everybody who watches our show to write this part down and understand this. What Cam is being coached to do by her coach, rightfully so, is to attempt to win the gold medal at World Championships in July.
Yeah.
So I need y'all to understand, she is crushing the collegiate record and the collegians. Loaded to the gills in training.
Absolutely.
We ain't peaking. We ain't coming out the hole till like 3/4 of the way through June.
Right.
That's right. And
so,
and I'll say this.
Yeah.
If I don't know, how it is, but Bowerman crew, whatever the other 2 seats are, they are. But Cameron Rogers better be on the stage. She deserves to be on the stage.
And I mean there's got to be an argument that she might deserve to be the winner too. So
sure,
there's a couple of young ladies in games that might have something to say about that.
Yeah, I'm with all of that, but she got to be on the dais.
She got to be on the dais. Yes, she does.
I mean, my goodness.
The
I
other
mean,
thing
look,
that I
is there
found-
really a world where all 3 seats in the women's Bowerman can be 3 field event people?
Ooh, that's
yeah.
blasphemy, isn't it?
I mean, will someone let that happen? That's the question.
Right. Would anybody let it happen is the question.
That's what I'm saying. Will anybody actually let it happen, or will they say that Anna's not a field event person because she does the running
Right.
in the 400 hurdles?
Right.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if everybody on the women's side holds serve and delivers what they are capable of delivering at the NCAA finals, why wouldn't it be all field event?
Listen, I'm
You're
saying
right.
it because I believe it. Because right now, the 3 best seasons being crafted by females in the NCAA level, and look, all deference to favor Ophelia, who I think is having a monstrous season, right? But her season doesn't compare, I don't personally think, to Jasmine, who hasn't not only not lost, not really been challenged by anybody, to Cam, who not only hasn't lost, but has not been challenged by anybody and is destroying her own collegiate record every other week, and to Anna Hall, who's not really from this planet, right? So like right now, collegiately, the 3 best seasons being crafted, indoors and out combined, are by those 3 people.
Yeah,
Agreed.
It's true.
Agreed.
So the from a team perspective, because regionals, preliminary rounds.
There you go.
First round,
Preliminary
baby.
rounds can be a little treacherous. I was very, Texas got all their people through, which is important. Which makes the women's side of the team battle very, very interesting. I thought, and I thought the Texas women overall were pretty sharp. Like they came out there very business, did what they're supposed to do, got the people through. It was an impressive show by the Longhorns. But KST, you need to tell us some of your stories from the West, because you had a hell of a weekend, brother.
What are you talking about? What do you?
You had a hell of a weekend, sir.
Okay.
You need to share.
You know,
Lucious wasn't there to see it. You got to share.
Oh man, it's you the measure of a man, they say, right? All of these individuals that came to Fayetteville were at A&M last year. Some went to bed, some absolutely just were caught up in the moment. But every one of them came back this year with a specific goal in mind, on a mission. I mean, I have never had a season where I literally didn't have to speak. They knew what they needed to do. They followed instructions to the T, and everything that we had talked about, planned on going into the first round to the prelims, they executed. I mean, I sat there, 4 days in a row, just in awe, in absolute awe of the professionalism and how they went about their craft. I should have, in the space of 24 hours, my male long jumper makes it in by a centimeter, has to sit there and watch, 4 or 5 jumpers that are like right in that range. And the last jumper, kid from Oklahoma, goes 768 on his last jump. My kid went 769. He gets in. Unbelievable, moment for him. The following day, my young lady that had been consistent 640s all year bruises her heel and decides to finally go for it. When you're coaching someone and they're at a deficit and they're not realizing that they're holding themselves back because they're trying to protect themselves. And, it was like, hey, you're going to have to push, you're going to have to put some forces into the ground. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. And she came down and 621 flashes up, 622 made some meat. And, very, very disheartening, very, disappointing moment for her. But, to get 2 triple jumpers, a long jumper or 100 110 hurdler into the meet, historic moment for UTSA. I mean, it's that we're now seeing the fruits of our labor. And, I wouldn't expect anything less going into Eugene. I expect them to continue the momentum going into Eugene.
There you go. It was fun to watch you and your crew this weekend, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did a hell of a job. Hopefully I'll have some of those stories for you next
There you go. There you go.
Oh, as I told you via text, it's happening. It's happening.
Big league, what's going on now?
Now we're going to jump the pond. I'm going to go to a little place called Ostrava where they had a meet or two, or some races or two, I should say it that way.
Had a world record, right?
I mean, low key, right?
Well, can I throw one thing in there before we get to Ostrava?
Sure.
Because listen, I know the world doesn't really pay attention to the multi events the way they should, but I need to express this to y'all so y'all can get this. I saw a world record this past weekend, that was one of the most efficient and ridiculously easy things I've ever seen a young person do. So the young man's last name is Ehammer. He's Swiss. He's a decathlete, and he's a long jumper. So for some context, he jumped 828 indoors in the long jump, right? And I met him, and so we were talking about stuff, and I said, look, I'm not trying to be funny. Why are you doing the combined events? And he's like, because I love them. I was like, okay, take this the right way, not the wrong way. It's not that you're no good at the multis, but you're exceptional at the long jump. So we've become friends, and we talk a lot. And I said, well, what's the plan for outdoors? First of all, this is when I knew that they were playing chess, not checkers. He did a decathlon in Germany, and he did another one that I was just at in Austria. He is long jumping at Outdoor Worlds and then doing decathlon at European Cup. So he's going to have his 3 decks for the combined event challenge. But write this down, and I said it. That young man's going to win world championships in the long jump.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
Because listen to me, y'all.
You love to go out on that marathon.
Look,
Wow.
six lane track, 66, 67 degrees, no wind during a decathlon. This dude comes running on the runway and jumped 846, and he got half the board and didn't take his 3rd jump. Mind you, in a competition, you get 6, right? He only took 2. 1. Sorry, 1.
All right. We'll have Chu roll the tape.
Oh, you're not kidding. She's not gonna have to roll it because I'm gonna remember that one. Just like I remember anybody that thinks they know who's gonna win the men's 100 at the NCAA meet.
Hey, you know what? At least I have the balls to speak my mind. That's what I believe.
Hey.
So let me ask this question: are you gonna have the same energy?
And the rest of the people in the world that are delusional have the same problem.
Are you gonna have the same energy when the decathlete wins the world championships in the long jump?
If that happens, I will give you your praises.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, my brother, if it doesn't,
we're okay.
Brother, yeah.
If
Oh no,
it's
we're gonna be
okay.
okay. Right? As long as you're gonna stand up with that same energy.
You want to, and so I'll give you the small secret. Like, obviously, I think a great deal of the young man, but you want to know the thing that I thought was the best? He walked over to his coach and told him, I am going to win world championships in the long jump.
Okay.
And I wasn't You know what? He ain't scared. I'll say that.
Can't be if you're planning on winning. You can't be scared.
He ain't scared.
Lamar, as soon as you were heading down that track, I looked over to the other side of the screen and I said, "Oh boy, here we go."
Anyway, Sir Lucious.
Yes, sir.
There was
decathlon world record in the long jump.
World record in Ostrava.
Okay, so what does it mean? Let's start right there. What does it mean?
Well, what does it mean? We're coming to you because.
Okay, so I don't know what it means because now so give me the particulars about this race. Let's start there.
Well,
what's the time first of all? What was the time run?
Okay, so it's the 36.80, which is a very fast time for a woman over the hurdle.
Femke Bol ran 36.80 over the 300 hurdles. Now, from an American perspective, for some reason we tolerate this race at the high school level. So on this side of the pond, everybody's mind was blown. But I feel like the governor has some details about this for the audience.
Well, it's not a race that's run very often. It's run at the youth level, I believe. Yes, they run the 300 hurdles at the youth level. Over in Europe and in the Caribbean and British colonies, they run the hurdles the traditional way, which is just like you would run the 4 hurdles, but you only run 300 meters. And it's a big difference between, what we see here in the high school ranks, where there's that hurdle right at the finish line. So, they get 8 hurdles in.
Okay, so hold on a second. So we're only run 7 hurdles.
Yes, only running 7 hurdles.
So, then we're not impressed anymore.
See, look, this is the reason. This is the reason I wanted to give props to my decathlon long jump world record because that's a real record.
That's
no,
sir.
It's a real record.
No,
it's a real record.
Sure it is.
How's it a real record?
Let me tell you something.
It's not even, okay. All right. In comparison to what we do here on this continent, it's not real.
Well, I get that.
All right. So, Governor, what's the run into the first hurdle in this race?
It's 50 meters.
Yeah. What's the run into a normal 300 hurdle race?
45.
Okay, so we get 5 more meters of acceleration. We'll start there. All right. What's the runoff for this race? 40 meters.
Yes, 40 meters.
I can tell you. Yeah. And it's like there is no runoff on the other one. Right.
There's a
fall off the hurdle, and it's just there's a line, right?
Momentum.
So
what did Sid run in the 300 hurdles in high school?
37.9.
Yeah, 37. She broke 38.
Right. So she ran 37 seconds over 8 hurdles with a shorter run in.
The shorter run in and a much shorter run off.
Yeah.
And no runoff.
So look,
because every single one of us has seen somebody hit the 8th hurdle and still finish, like fall over. You fall over the line. Yeah.
Look, I'll say this. I'm a fan of Femke Bol.
As am I.
So listen, what does it mean?
As am I.
In the pantheon of 400 hurdles, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. It means absolutely nothing. But all I'll say is, if we want to say something interesting, Karsten Warholm has the 300-meter world record in the same type of race.
I am very disgruntled at this point in time in my life because I didn't know it was the same tomfoolery when he did his record.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm not impressed with that anymore. Twice. I'm not. So you just crushed me twice tonight.
Right.
So y'all know I'm a big Warholm fan, but I'm not a Warholm fan when it comes to the 300 hurdle record anymore.
So let me say this because I actually believe this, and it is also, in my opinion, hilarious. This is just another example. You know what this is? This is America's feet and inches versus the rest of the world's meat.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
that's what this is.
Yes.
Right.
So I will argue that the European way is better, and this is just another excuse of why we should disband the American version of the 300 hurdles across the board.
Well, you know what? But you know what? I disagree. I think we should just run it the same way they run it, and then we'll find out.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Because I promise you,
Yes.
if we run it that way, you know
Yeah.
what? I think we just got a new event for the Florida Relays next year.
There it is.
There you go.
Hey,
Sir
I'm with that.
Lucious.
You do it,
There
everybody
you
else will.
go.
I'm with that. I'm all the way with that. But
the international 300 hurdles.
Oh
Yes.
my
There you go.
goodness.
That's the event.
can we please,
Yes.
America, every state, this shouldn't be a Republican or a Democrat issue. Can we just get rid of the 300 hurdles and go 400 hurdles? Can we just do that, please?
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
And
with
can
you.
can we run all the intermediates at the same height?
No, you can't.
Don't we still have states that run different heights?
God, do we?
on the men's side?
No, on the women's side. There used to be
No.
I've
Really?
No.
No, it was on the men's side. No, you're right. It's on the. It used to be.
It could only be on the. It could only be on the men's side. If
We go
on
all
the
the way
men's
down.
side. It was on the men's
Are you-
side. There used to be
okay?
different state. Yes, I just lost train of thought.
Yes, you did.
Anyway.
That's why I asked if you were okay.
International 300 hurdles is a thing.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Let's see this
Yeah.
race. Something for Americans to do.
So here's something that really puts it into context. And the fact that the world record was only 38:16, right? So, I mean, quite literally, you put Delilah, Sydney, Shamir in a race like this.
Oh, Shamir might run 35 seconds because she's going as hard as she can the whole way. Because you know she don't care. And look, and I promise you, if you put enough money in front of Lawrence Johnson, he will take that record apart.
Exactly.
But it's funny you said that, because my first thought was there's no chance that Carson Warholm can beat Rye Benjamin over a 300-meter hurdle race. In that format, no shot.
I mean,
where it's not about strength.
Because
well, that's my point. We're not talking about strength anymore, right? We're not talking about strength. We're not talking we're talking about being fast.
Pure speed.
And now if Rye runs it the way he's capable of running it,
yeah,
no shot.
Yeah.
No shot. No shot.
So you understand,
Carson's just going as hard as he can the whole way.
If you put a 300 hurdle race in for the woman, you have to do one for the men. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yes.
All kind of world record set in Gainesville.
Oh my God.
So I just got to find the right time, frame in the meet. I got to get people to come run it.
Yep.
Tell them what the parameters are. I'm on the phone, brother.
Get one good sponsor to drop some cash for it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them it's a Gatorade race.
Guys, look, get one of the car dealerships.
Right. That's great.
Get one of the car dealerships in town to donate a Chrysler 300 for the winner.
There you go.
And that's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Donate a Chrysler 300 if they break the world record.
If they break the world record.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
what's next?
Another Jasmine Camacho Quinn sighting. 12:45 in Ostrava.
Yeah, she been doing that though.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with Quinn. Like, the only thing that's going to stop Quinn from breaking the world record is her mental, right? Because she's very inconsistent with her start these days, and like, you can't become the queen of that event being inconsistent from 1 to 5, right? So I'd like to see her be more consistent there, and I think if she becomes that, then I don't think anybody's beating her, but I think that she can approach the world record if she clean up her first 5 hurdles.
I agree with that. But you know what? And that women's hurdle race, kind of like the Prefontaine 100, to me was more about what was going on behind Quinn than anything else. I think we all expect come June Nia to find a way, because Nia finds a way. But Kenny looked bad in that race. And that, like, you know how American women's hurdles are, like,
yeah,
it can get real ugly real fast.
Mm-hmm. So Nia's sticking her nose in there well.
Oh, Tonia's another one of the, like,
See, Nia doesn't have to get right. She's the defending champion.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Nia just.
So she's got her spot, yeah. So the other people have to get their spots because Mia's got hers.
Yeah, I mean, she went from 1272, I think. Now she's running 1269. You know, Strava. So the times are dropping now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she is the ultimate gamer. Her and Dawn
you
Harper.
know it.
Right.
Yep. You know it.
Those two, you do not want those two hanging around with 3 hurdles to go. Not either one of them. Nope.
But yeah, those were the world record. It was all about the women's hurdles in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good.
Shoot, get
Big league.
What's next? Get this off of me.
I was waiting.
I'm serious. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the record at all, but like it's not the same when you got too much for running and run off.
It's a fugazi time trial record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kinda.
That's funny. That's funny. That's a.
Yeah.
All right. So the coins have begun. Someone went and was collecting money over the NCAA season and has started to put in a coin in the carousel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it started again.
Many. It really has.
Fast early.
And you know, like there was inklings of the carousel getting loaded up because we heard of retirements and whatnot, but now it's I mean, triggers were pulled, plates had been blasted.
I mean, what do we know? What do we know sitting here right now? We know.
Welcome to the SEC.
Right. We know Auburn is open. Auburn is open. Tennessee is filled in and out.
Yeah.
That's done.
Mm-hmm.
So since we recorded last, Tennessee has been opened and filled, and now A&T is open.
A&T is open. UConn is open.
UConn is open. Yeah.
What am I missing? Something else is open. North Texas is open.
North Texas is open. Stephen F. Austin is open.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Didn't know about that one. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He retired.
That's retirement.
He's like,
yeah,
wow.
the head coach retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cal Poly is open.
What's that?
Cal Poly is open.
Yep.
Which one?
Pomona.
Really?
No, slow.
Okay. Slow is open.
Yeah.
And obviously the big move is Dwayne Ross going from A&T to Tennessee is the big move. You know,
of course.
You know, big props to him. And welcome to the SEC, brother.
Welcome to the SEC.
I mean,
wait.
There's a. Go ahead, Drew.
Nope, can't.
Oh,
nope, can't.
My bad. No, I mean we should pause on the Ross leaving A&T and going into Tennessee for a second, shouldn't we? I mean that's
absolutely
a big deal.
Yeah, okay.
Depending on what side of the argument you look at it from.
You have to give him props for what he did at A&T.
Mm-hmm.
Have to. And I know there's some narrative out there that people think that he had a better situation at A&T. I disagree. I think his situation at Tennessee is much better. But no, I mean, like he earned his stripes, and technically now they're an IB school, and he's getting his stripes. So yeah.
This is not my argument at all, but it is 100% out there in the ether. There are people, and honestly, I'd leave it to Lucious or Lamar to answer this for the audience. There are people out in the ether that are of the opinion that, for lack of a better terminology, how dare he leave the HBCU world? Like, you know, like that's a thing. He built it up. He turned it into something relevant. How dare he walk out on that world? You guys say to that what?
I say, how dare you ever chastise or question a man for taking care of his family? You know? See, that's that crab in the bucket nonsense. No, absolutely not. How dare you question that man bettering his life and bettering his family's life? And that's all I got for that. Anybody that says that is just silly. Right?
But you've seen it out there. You've seen
Exactly. And it's silly.
Well,
you know? because I guarantee you that I know for a fact that his salary close to doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Dwayne, how dare you take care of your family? What's wrong with you? Come on, man.
You know, listen, our people in particular they get like this sometimes. And it's like, as soon as we get one, so to speak, right, it's like almost like you're supposed to, you owe it to the culture.
Yes.
Right. But the culture doesn't feed you. Right. Like, at the end of the day, like, listen, I'm gonna let everybody out here understand, like, Deion Sanders is not going to finish his college football coaching career at Jackson State.
No chance.
Okay? We got that? Like,
No, sir.
Deion Sanders is going to be the head football coach at Florida State at some point, and he's going to make all the bags, not some bag. He's going to make all the bags at once, right? Because he can be the first college football coach to get an NIL deal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well played,
but you know, of course, right? But listen, this is what I want people to do. I want people. I was victim to this, and I guess that's why I'm sensitive to this. What I want people to do is praise Dwayne Ross for this. The job he leaves is 10 times the job he got.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Okay. The person who, look, the job is palatable and the job is attractive. We all love Spaceman, but the A&T job before Dwayne took it was not in the same general. It wasn't in the same country as the A&T job is now.
No.
Right? A Power 5 assistant or a mid-major head coach would leave the place that they're at to go to NCAA, and
Absolutely.
that was 100% not true before Dwayne Ross took the job.
He came out.
Not just that.
Well, I
Not
am
just
gonna,
that.
can we
Dwayne
pause for just
Dwayne
one
Ross.
second? Because I don't know
Yes.
if a Power 5 coach is going to Let's stop.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm sure that there are Power 5 assistants that would leave a Power 5 assistant job to be the head coach at A&T.
They would.
I'm sure.
Well, I thought you were talking about head coaches.
No. That's why I said Power 5 assistants
I
or
missed the
mid-major
assistant
head
part.
coaches.
Okay.
But let's be clear, right? It's not even just the head coach that they can now attract. They can attract much higher level assistants than they used to be able to do. And they're still going to look. People have gone there and run fast, and not everybody's going to not go there because Dwayne Ross is there. There are some people who are still going to go to NCAA because A&T has now been made to be sort of sexy. So what really needs to happen for the culture is for people to understand that Dwayne Ross has created another high quality place for coaches to go and make a living and feed their families, and for athletes to go and believe that they can be nationally relevant and get a shoe contract. Because those things didn't exist before Dwayne Ross took the job at NCAA.
All fair.
So
all fair.
I mean, ain't nobody mad at Nick Saban for not still being at Michigan State, right?
on the for the culture argument, I hate that argument. Lamar is absolutely right. On a much larger scale, it's the Deion Sanders argument. Don't get it twisted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders was chopping jobs in the P5 last summer. Don't think that he wasn't. Okay. So
the NIL deal wasn't right.
Right. my thing about that whole narrative is this, right? If you want those people, listen, I'm a huge fan of HBCUs, and my time at Alabama State under Richie Bean is something I will never forget and will forever root for, right? My thing is this. If you want to challenge anybody on this type of argument, start challenging the administrations that run the HBCU programs. Because if you want to see top flight coaches go and stay, then you need to pay them and treat them like top flight coaches are due. Like, that's just what it is. I'm gonna tell you right now, even though it's his alma mater, David Oliver keeps doing what he's doing, he's not gonna finish his career at Howard either.
No
Not
shot.
gonna happen. So, if you're going to challenge anybody for the culture, challenge the administrations of these schools to elevate the HBCU programs to a level, you know, even with, you know, the G5s and headed towards the P5s, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to keep high level producing coaches in these spots. Otherwise, they'll continue to get snatched up, and in this case, snatched instantly. I don't think the ink was dry on the retirement or on the exit announcement at Tennessee before the Twitter was out with "we hired Dwayne Ross."
Yes.
So clearly that was a, you know, a targeted, planned out, you know, situation by Mr. White, and they got it done. And you're going to keep seeing it. So I don't know why, you know, our people think that we're just supposed to stay in these positions when there are better opportunities out there. And if he feels that Tennessee is the better opportunity, what you mad about?
So in terms of head jobs, you know, and you know, some of this, like, so the ones that are notable: Auburn, UConn, North Texas, SFA, Eastern Washington, Kent State, A&T, Georgia Southern, Boston College Woman, Holy Cross, Montana, Utah State, Central Arkansas, Towson, UC San Diego. Did you know about that one?
UC San Diego, yeah.
I did know about that. I forgot. That's right.
Yeah, and La Tech.
That's right. Gary's retiring. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So
congratulations, Gary.
There's a lot of turnover happening, you know, on the lower level, but still, I mean, there are going to be a lot of folks walking around in Eugene next week, you know,
yes,
making eye contact.
and there will be some ADs walk around Eugene paying attention.
Shopping.
Yeah.
There'll be some ADs shopping.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I mean, when Lonnie talks about the story of him going, it's still, you know, like when you hear the story and you really like flesh it out. I mean, the dude is just sitting there watching him and literally says, "Oh yes, there's my guy. There's my guy."
Detail that out a little bit, because a lot of people don't know that story, and it's a great example of, one, coaches, you are always on display.
Always on display.
But no, tell that story, because that's a dope story, actually.
It really is. You know, I don't have all the details. I mean, Sir Lucious, I don't know if you know more, but from what I understand, you know, Lonnie is at the national meet with the Purdue track team, that he's pretty much risen from the dead, and you know, they're in the middle of it. They're doing well. They're at the national championships, and he is doing what Lonnie does. I mean, he's coaching, he's motivating, and the AD at Kentucky is in the warm-up area and is watching Lonnie, unbeknownst to him, is watching what he's doing, watching, you know, everything that he's doing, and goes back to Kentucky and says, "There's my guy." Now, I don't know when the contact was made. I don't know when, you know, all of that all came together. But, you know, Lonnie wasn't in the warm-up area, you know, putting on a show. You know, he was taking care of his kids. He was getting his kids ready for battle. And what a meet that was. I mean, that's still one for the ages. I mean,
yes,
we can go on for days about what happened, you know, at that meet. But, you know, still, I mean, when you talk about what next week is for a lot of people, you know, next week is there's a lot of show and prove, right? And there's a lot of, you know, conversations, you know, that are happening out in the open, and some that are happening behind closed doors. And, you know, it's something that I don't know that we really and truly, you know, talk about, you know, out in the open, what the week of NCAAs is for a lot of people, you know, and it's a testament, you know, to the ones that come out of that week, you know, with a new life, with a new opportunity, a new revenue stream. And then you have others that are, you know, searching, you know, soul searching, trying to figure out what's next. It's a fun week for some, brutal week for others.
Absolutely.
I want to stick out a small PSA to college coaches. I'm going to give you some factoids. I talk to a lot of athletic directors because that's part of my job. Athletic directors, they don't like to sift through the mess. So to control the narrative of the process, one of the things that they do is call what are industry-wide considered the elite minds of the collegiate landscape and pick their brains for potential candidates. So I hope you're hearing me. You know, your peers or the people in your conference who've been dominating, you might want to understand that those people are also paying attention to you. And some AD is going to call he or she and say, well, we can't afford you, but we know you know who all these people are.
Point
Can
me
you
in
give
the
us
right
3 or 4
direction.
names? Can you give us 3 or 4 names?
Yep.
And, you know, I have these 3 or 4 names. What do you think of these 3 or 4 names? And for those of you who don't really want to listen to me or believe me, just understand this. I had that conversation with an athletic director about a baseball job today.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an assistant coach currently in the running for a Power 5 head coaching job. A head coach from the same conference he is in was called by the school to vet him, unbeknownst to he or I. So when I spoke with said AD, they said, well, we've done some initial calls and the reviews have come back pretty stellar. So if you are a college coach, I think it was already said about 5 minutes ago, your behavior is always being watched and perceived. And there is never a better way to advance in this sport than to be doing things the right way, to be doing things with integrity, and to be purporting yourself like you would want someone to teach your son or daughter to be.
Absolutely. True.
Well, to just give a quick highlight and to wrap up that segment, it was reported today that Lonnie just signed an extension through 2027. So to speak further on that, congratulations to him, and you know, you keep watering that seed and it's going to keep growing. So that's just more proof in the pudding of that. So congratulations.
They just trying to make sure he don't go to Auburn.
Wow.
Hey, listen. Hey, let me tell you something. This is how it happens in baseball. You want to get a raise in baseball? Let a job that might be better than yours come open.
Sir Lucious, let me ask you a question before you finish. Do you think that if Auburn wanted to open up the coffers, that they could and would for track and field based on their history? I mean, just give me your.
Okay, so where's the question? Could they should or could or would what?
No. Would they? I mean,
like go after the best people in the country.
Yes, this is a generalization.
I mean, it depends on how good they want to be.
Right.
I think it's all it comes down to. They got the money. I mean, they're an SEC school.
That was really what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. They have
You know, because I mean, we've seen them be good, right? We've seen them be, Very
national
good caliber teams, right?
Well, the women won a national
They
title.
got a trophy.
The men were second or third, and in the year where they should have won, they had the 3-time defending champion in the discus, and he fouled 3 times, didn't make the final or something crazy.
What year was that?
Yeah.
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Okay.
Mate,
One
I
of the
think it
years we
was.
were out in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabor Mate.
Wow.
Well, I mean, the coins will keep coming, so there'll be more to this.
There'll be 20 more by next show.
I mean, come Sunday, we'll have new reports. Unfortunately. So, well, moving on to Would You Rather. Sir Lucious is going to step into the ring for this one. This has been well received. I've gotten some reviews, so we'll definitely keep going.
I love it because it's definitely not as shady as the other stuff you used to ask. That's for sure.
Oh, good.
I try. All right, are you ready, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right. Would you rather go back in history or fast forward into the future?
Back in history.
Would you rather have supersonic hearing or X-ray vision?
Hearing. There's certain things in life you just don't want to see.
Oof.
Wow.
Would you rather only be able to text or only be able to make calls?
Text.
See, that was a good one.
Text. That was a good one, yeah.
All right. Would you rather have forever roommates or live alone forever?
Live alone.
I was like, that's an easy one.
Would you rather rock climb or cliff dive or whatever that's called?
Oh my God.
I will pass twice.
I was hoping to get an answer because the original question was bungee jump or skydive, and I was like, that's not going to happen.
Pass twice again. I'm not doing that.
All right. Last one. Would you rather make more money or have more time?
Have more time. Have more time.
I thought so. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Sir Lucious, can I get you to sign my petition to never return to the Midwest for preliminary weekend?
Not only will I sign your petition, I will actively get others to sign it as well.
Oh goodness.
Oh my Lord.
Let me think.
And for the record, yes, Arkansas is the Midwest.
Yes, it is. It is.
Oh, wait, true story. I'm telling on DA real quick. He was looking at the East results, and he's looking, and he's like, "Chew, where's Arkansas at the East?" So we're at Arkansas right now. Like, oh shit. So that's how confusing this is, people.
That's our guy.
Oh,
we're
man.
standing in Arkansas. I don't know where it is.
Like you said, let's go south to go east, go west.
I mean, man. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, I got one. This one is you might want to answer it or maybe not. This is hypothetical, okay?
There's a lot of prefacing going on.
Would you rather the Oregon job or USC job?
Ooh.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I'm passing.
Hold on. Pops popcorn.
That's a good question.
Pops popcorn.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's a great question. Oh man, I'd rather the Florida job, but if I have to pick between, I'm going to Oregon because I know where I'm living in LA. That's just not happening.
That's a fair answer. One I believe from you, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Oregon, the facilities, the community, the cathedral. Yeah, I'm not. And I mean, I'm just nothing against USC, but I'm just not living in LA.
Okay.
I mean, see, I don't want to have a job and have to have a side job to pay my bills. I'm not.
But they
Oh, you don't
they
have to do
buy
that.
houses for their coaches now. Like
Right, you ain't gotta do
They
that.
do.
they throw in all the amenities now. I mean, but you still
listen.
Oregon.
I think I know Sir Lucious better than everybody on this panel, and I will say this: there is no amount of money that could get that man to deal with Los Angeles traffic for a week, let alone for a whole shot. Listen, they could pay him $48 million a year. He'd be like Kobe. Can I helicopter from the house that y'all buy me to the track and then helicopter home? That's the only shot they got to get him to take a job in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And for our non-West Coast affiliated followers, the reason for that is there's no community near USC that Sir Lucious would live in.
No shot.
He's gonna be on the beach somewhere.
Exactly.
No
Absolutely.
shot.
Absolutely.
I mean, he got a better shot at UCLA because, again, he could live close enough that the helipad could actually happen.
Yes.
But I see UCLA, he could live in Bel Air. Lucious feels very Bel Air to me. He could do that.
Yeah,
we can do
at some
Bel Air
point
now.
We can do Bel
We can do
Air.
Bel Air. We can do Bel Air.
He could do Bel Air as long as, again, there's look, then he can definitely have to take a helicopter to the airport because the first time he has to go to first time he's got to go to LAX, he's like, nope, we good.
This is not happening.
This is not happening. That was a great question.
Good job.
That was a great question.
Thank you.
What you got? Time traveler.
I felt good about my question until that one because mine pales in comparison. But I'm going to ask anyway. What is the single greatest track and field performance you have ever seen with your own two eyes? In the building, saw with your own two eyes.
Warhol.
That is the answer.
That's not close.
Pretty damn good answer.
All right. Well, question answering is done. Let's give some people some props. Definitely always time and a place to always do that for anybody, track related or not. So who are we giving some heartbeat props out to tonight?
I want to jump the line and go first, and mine is going to be irrelevant to most track and field people, but I'll give you a small window into my life to some degree. My heartbeat props go out to everybody involved in the next month of the pursuit of professional baseball, because it is a gigantic game of liar's poker that is played by all baseball executives, all baseball scouts, all advisors / agents, and the poor unwitting talent in the middle of it, which is the players. Baseball does almost everything they do because we've always done it that way. It is cloudy and convoluted for no particular reason. Football and basketball don't have these issues because all the picks are slotted. You got a really generalized idea of like where people go. So there's not a whole lot of shenanigans. Baseball clearly loves shenanigans, and this is a wild time of the year, and I will tell all of you this. There are 20 rounds of the draft, and the truth of the matter is there are only 15 players, the first 15 players that get taken, that'll probably be truly pleased after draft day, because everybody else after that feels like they settled for whatever it is and they should have gotten more, or they should have gotten taken higher, or they got passed over by certain teams. And, these kids all get raised from like age 4 on. Like the goal is to, play at the greatest school, get drafted with the first pick in the first round and make, millions of dollars. And the vast majority don't ever really understand that the true benefit of anything you get on draft day is that somebody gives you an opportunity to pursue your dreams further and try to become a Major League Baseball player. It ain't about the money.
I'll go next. I want to give heartbeat props out to everyone involved with the just shenanigans that is the prelims of the NCAA Championship to track and field. It's just we put these athletes through a year-long process of qualifying, and we go to these meets, and just watching the emotions of the athletes, their siblings, their parents, their coaches, the heartbreak of somebody not making it, the absolute ecstasy of people that do. I don't think that there's any worse process out there. I hope that the NCAA gets it together and does something to improve this process. But for those of those who have to go through it every year, the stress and the agony that's over that 4 days for a lot of people, just heartbeat props to everybody that made it, everybody that even those who didn't. Just being in Bloomington, Indiana, and being around the people and watching them deal with the emotions was like I said, it was very touching in some instances and very heartbreaking in others. So heartbeat props to everybody involved.
I would jump in right there because I had the exact same heartbeat props, but I'm actually on the other side of this. And we're not going to do that debate right now. We can do it another time. I love the drama and the gauntlet of the NCAA preliminary rounds. I think it is totally necessary, and I think we are currently doing the best version that we have had. I'm sure it can be improved, but I think that going through that fight and going through all of that it takes to advance is what sharpens everybody mentally, physically, to set up the NCAA semifinal and final rounds, which have gotten better and better and better as this process has evolved. Lucious is absolutely right. It is soul crushing at times.
Mm-hmm.
And for the athletes and the coaches alike, it's for those who survive in advance, it's ecstasy. And much like the governor just experienced, and as I hope me and mine experience moving forward, there's years where you go in there and they're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Not ready mentally. They don't understand the fire that they're about to be baptized in. And they come back different versions of themselves as athletes. There's all kind of stories of the kid that's sitting in the stands after the first round or after the quarterfinal and say, never again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see what they turn into next, the following year. So I love the process. I think it's dope. I love the idea that we have to line up and race to go through there. And I respect every coach and every athlete that shows up to stand in that ring and fight. And I think it's awesome. So heartbeat props to everybody who survived in advance. And I'm coming to see the show as a fan next week. So love it.
And I do want to say something. I just want it run better.
Oh, 100%.
That's my thing.
In proper,
we're going to do it.
Yeah.
If we're going to do it, let's run. Let's do it better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, nah, with you on that, brother.
Go ahead. You look like you're ready to go. Before.
In keeping in the same vein, in the same. For me, this was the first time that I've come out of this meet, feeling like we have turned a corner as a team. And, I've talked about this. Essentially what we've done here at UTSA is that we've built the culture from within, and we have identified those athletes that are our leaders and the ones that are looking beyond the conference championships and thinking about nationals and expecting to be there and wanting to be there. This year, and I have not done, the research from years past, but, we witnessed some things. There are a lot of athletes from lesser known schools that competed out of their skin in Arkansas. And I want to give heartbeat props to, you know, when you look at the men's long jump, for example, and it still sticks out in my mind, Wyoming, Idaho State, Utah Valley, Lamar, Long Beach State, Grand Canyon, and UTSA, 7 schools, okay, from non-Power 5, from the non-Power 5 group, were able to advance and move on. And, you know, it's, you know, it's not, to me, it's, you know, we can say it's an indictment on the schools that are better funded and have more coaching and have better this and better that. But let's give props to the coaches from these schools that are on shoestring budgets, that, you know, God knows what they did to get to the preliminary meet, because we know how much that meet costs, okay? And to get those kids through, you know, that speaks volumes in my opinion. And I love where we are at, and I love where we're headed. You know, we didn't have the issues that Bloomington did, you know, in terms of organization. Things were run very well in Arkansas, but heartbeat props to those, you know, to those lesser known institutions that were able to get their athletes across the finish line.
Agreed. I'll round out the round with heartbeat props to those who are still watching after 3 seasons, our viewers, because the governor and I had a moment where he just had a little smirk on his face, and I said, "What's funny?" And he just said, "There are people who just kind of snicker and they go, 'You're the governor,' you know." And then, no, I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to tell anybody, but I get a picture via text of the back of Sir Lucious's head, and it's Sir Lucious is in person, and I'm like, "Well, you should go say hi." You know, I get that.
What?
Same thing with Clyde. You know, Lamar has a guest appearance here and there for track meet, so he doesn't get as many. I don't get as many as those from them. I had a young, I don't know if he's young, I'm assuming you're young, Jack, from Portland. He came up, he's like, "You're big league, right?" And I was like, "Oh, that was embarrassing." And I said that out loud. And, you know, and it's just the things that get picked up on the shows, the insinuations, the hard facts, people who have grown a bond with each other via the show. Just kudos to you all for kind of just taking this moment for yourself, but to better your careers as well, and the thing that you call your passion, your love. So kudos to you all. It's been fun. It is fun. And yes, you know, Jack said it, he's like, "I can't believe you guys have gone 3 seasons and hasn't, you know, all but that one little week of missed a beat of it." And so it's been cool. It's been fun, and heartbeat props to them for keeping us to keep the mojo alive. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was a fun little revelation this week for me. John Ellis walking by and like, "Big league," and I was like, "Oh my God, that's so embarrassing." Embarrassing. And I'm sure you guys have something similar to say, you know, from time to time those things happen to you. So
No, because we're not big league. We don't get those.
Like, you're right. Right? We're not big
Definitely
league.
not.
You're trying to put it. Don't try to put us in your category. Nice try.
Whatever. Anyhow, all right. Well, as we do what we do for our deal. Wrap up another show, get through this week, get in our respective vehicles to Eugene, and
next week is prediction time,
NCAA
baby.
predictions next week.
Yeah.
I mean, I kid you not, audience.
Get the popcorn ready.
They put that in the chat today, and I was like, "Dang it!"
You can't
Big
possibly
league is already
last again.
Big league is already hyperventilating at the thought.
I know. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so you all rest up this weekend. Get prepped for the weekend, for the week and the weekend to come, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.